when AI is making better looking, more eye-catching bus designs than what we've got currently, we're cooked, bro. Like, just imagine, yeah. I know a lot of enthusiasts that are used to your plain or boring bus are gonna call this shit ugly, but to me, yeah, I would actually prefer if my bus looks a lot more like this every day down my street. Okay, no, that's a bit too far with the wheels, but minus the wheels, yeah. When you look at the design, and yeah, I'd actually like it if my bus was looking like this. G. Like this looks a lot more flashy and designing. Like it looks a lot more banging, than whatever banger we've currently got about. Honestly, like it to be fair. Like even that, I just imagine if we had buses with curves like this. Like a lot of bus designs are just like near, but imagine if you had a bus design with like curving like this. Like, come on, man. This is the type of shit we're lacking, man. This is the type of stuff we're lacking out here for our bosses, man. Like I wish buses looked so much more super like this. Obviously, these ain't all great, like, because they're designed by AI, but they'd still look a bit more like flashy than whatever the fuck you see about your streets. Like, it would actually be cool. It would actually low key be cool if you saw stuff like that. It would actually be low key cool if you saw your bus rocking like that, man. Like, buses looking all super car-y like this. I'd love that personally, because buses just look a bit too flat, plain, linear, and boring, man. Like, when you look at your average ALX 400, like, what's so great about that? Like, it just looks like a box on wheels. Or like your E400, for example. Just looks like, it just looks like a box on wheels. There's nothing really that outstanding about it. But us enthusiasts, we gas these things so much, and it's almost as if we imagine too much life into these things. Because really and truly, yeah, I understand why people are coming from whenever you hear people that aren't particularly interested in buses like that say, "Oh, it's just a box on wheels. What's so special about that? It's just a bus." I understand where people are coming from when they say that, because when you take a minute to zone out of the madness that goes on in the bus community, when you take a minute to zone your brain out of it, you actually deep it. Like when I'm looking at this thing right now, and I'm not even listening to nothing, like I'm not even listening to no engine or nothing like that. What is so fancy about this? Like, what actually stands out when you look at this? Like like as we started growing with designs for like the Route Master, yeah, then it went to the MMC, the street decks, even the street light, designs like that, they kind of raised up the barrier for buses, but anything older than that, what looks so special about that? Like, see, when we started getting designs like this, it started blowing up a bit, but it still looks rather a bit plain by the size and that, but it's like we actually started getting somewhere from like the 2014 era of buses, and that's why I feel like can't like feel free to hate on me whatever, yeah, but I feel like 2014 buses, yeah, 2014 plus buses like the MMC, the Street Deck, even the BYDs that are coming out right now, the Street Lights, any bus 2014 plus, apart from like the last few E200s, E400s that were like carried on from like 2011 to that 2014 plus designs and that. Minus them. Like minus this for example. Like the late E400s, E200s, minus these things. Yeah. The MMCs, the cities, street decks, you know, GB Hawks, GB Kites, Eversetties. I feel like buses from that era alone, even the new route masters look a lot more longer than the older things. I personally, yeah, I know a lot of people are interested in all the older things in this bus community, but for me, I'm the opposite. I don't know if anyone else is like me, yeah, but personally, I feel that Boss 2014 Plus are a lot cooler than all the older things. That's just all I'm gonna say. That's just my preference, to be fair. I haven't really heard anyone else say anything like that because a lot of people they're heavily focused on all the older shit, but I feel like the 2014 plus buses stand out a lot more. Like, come on, the MMC, yeah, it still looks a bit plain when you look at it from some angles, but you can't lie. You can't even lie to yourself, mate. It looks a lot more flashy than your older E400, man. It looks a lot more eye pleasing, eye catching. I love it. I love it, G. The MMC's design's quite great for a bus. Even the newer thing that took over the fourth generation of the Enviro, yeah, it still looks a bit better than the MMC and looks more sleek. But you know what my issue with with buses, right? It's how flat the side designs have always been on our buses. Like it's been like that for a while. You rarely ever see buses with like shaping going along the sides. Like they're all just completely flat when it comes to the sides. Manufacturers will always try with the front and rear occasionally, but the only things that really keep the sides alive is when they got black outlines. Minus the black outlines, if the side was just completely one color, you see how dead it will look. Like when you look on Metroline's buses, for example, how they're refurbishing them, they just look so plain by the sides now because you've seen them in just one color, you know. But whereas if you saw a car in just one color, even if it was just like even if a car was just like only covered in black or red, it would still look a lot more eye catching than a bus that was just in black only. Like, do you see what I mean? Wait, hold on. Let me just find a picture of like one of Metroline's like refurb or tomato. Surely there's a picture or something like that. Um, but yeah, when you look at this year, you start to realize the only thing that's really giving the side's identity from other bosses is literally the black. You know, the black outlines from the windows. That's pretty much the only thing. If this whole side was just red only, like when the whole side is just red only, you know, you start to realize how plain the sides on buses really are. Whereas if you see a car like you mainly see cars in just one color only, and they still look better than a bus if it was in just one color only. Like a car don't need no livery to still look great. You see what I mean? A car doesn't need no livery, but when you look at buses constantly need liveries. Otherwise, they look plain as shit. And that's because of how wank their designs are. And this is why I understand you why people are saying, "Oh, it's just a bus. What's so special about it?" I understand. It just looks like a box on wheels, mate. Like I'm just gonna be straight up with you. A lot of buses just look like box on wheels. You start to really notice it when all them colors are gone. Just how plain buses really are. You start to really notice it, you know. But we did have this one concept, this one really interesting bus concept that I've heard no bus enthusiasts touch up on, and that's the Mercedes Future Bus. Obviously, if you played Public Transport Simulator, you would have seen this thing in that game as well. Let me search that up. Mercedes Bus Public Transport. You'll see this thing in the game too, you know. And for a bus design, this was really ahead of its time. And this thing came out in 2016, not to the public, not to like for operators to purchase it and that. It never came out into production like that. But it was just a concept by Mercedes. And Mercedes, yeah, they're a manufacturer that's always been cooking it with cars, the trucks, and the buses. Even the Mercedes C2 stands out from other buses like your plain R E200. When you see the Mercedes Citaro, it kind of brings eyes a bit when you look at it. I like it. I like the C2 Citaro's design. The C1 is alright. It's alright, but it doesn't stand out as much. It looks a bit more flatter and that. But its design is quite for its time as a bus. Compared to average other buses like E200s, even double decker buses like E400s, it still looks a bit more, better. Even the Opta Metro C, I like that too. Even the Metro Decker, these are still like pretty fancy looking buses you know, for your average bus. These are pretty fancy things, but buses still need a bit more areas to glow up in. Like the side design is like give the side designs a bit more curvature. Like this is a thing with the E200 MMC, yeah, that I hate that ADL did. You see with the E200 MMC, when it first came up, right, it had curving wheel arches, right? It had some curving wheel arches. You see that? You see how the wheel arches curve like that, and it had this little dash thing going across like that. The MMC originally had that, but then as it got up to like 2016 plus, right, like 2017 plus, I'd say they eliminated that shit. So the side looks a bit more plain. The side looks flatter now. There's none of that dash that you saw on the previous one that I showed you. It looks a bit more boring and plain. And I don't understand that shit, man. Why do you manufacture why did you go ahead and make the design a bit more boring like that? Like why? Why, bro? Why did you do that, mate? You know, just why? What did you gain out of that? But if there's one thing I like about the MMC's design, I like how the front window leaps on leading towards the side like that. I like how that is smooth. That is designs like that we need more on our buses. That you rarely see smooth design shit going on like that with buses, man. And I appreciate the MMC for that. I am a massive fan of how the front window is connected to the whole side like that. I do like that. And then it goes around like that. That is clean. That is actually clean. I like that. It's actually like the MMC, like I don't know if I said it in this video, but the MMC, yeah, it was a huge glow up from the regular tin box E200, and E400. It was a huge glow up from that, and I like it for that. But then when you get to the side, in some angles, especially on the left side, that's where bosses look the most plain on their sides and that. It just looks maybe a bit flat. You know, there's not really any boss I've seen apart from the GB kite that's coming out. You know, the GB kite Electrolyner. Actually, nah. No. It kind of stands out with this dash thing going across here. I wish we had more unique designs like that with bosses and that. No, the boss with the most appealing design is definitely the Brute Master. It's definitely this thing. Big up Right Boss for creating this thing. A lot of boss movies hate on it, but personally, I don't understand why. You know, I don't understand why they hate on it, but I like it. I like its design. Its design is incredibly sleek for a boss. This is a thing where a lot of people will be interested and intrigued to board on this thing. The only thing that's a set down is that engine, because that engine creates so much heat in these look. I hope one day they convert all these root masters to electric. I know a lot of people are downplaying the whole electric conversion process already with how LT11 has unfolded after being converted to electric and then having to come off the roads for so many days, so many months. But I hope that they actually one day convert LTs to electric, or they end up making a Rootmaster free and making that electric only. I feel like it'll be better off doing that. Yeah, I feel like TFL would be better off doing that and not just keeping these LTs going until they die, basically. Because I feel like TFL are doing that a bit too much. Because Route Masters in London range from 2012 to 2018, in years that they were built. And I've seen 2012 buses, 2013 buses, leave the streets already. But Route Masters, TFL are very keen on keeping them in service. You know, TFL have been really keen on keeping the Route Masters in service. Like you won't see no Route Master lose out on a contract. But I have heard plans for the Route like 73, TFL's boss Route 73, eventually stepping out of the Route Master zone. But yeah, anyways, getting back to this Mercedes future boss.
I just mail check my marketing with AI.
Let me not use it in a game to like show you what the boss is like, but let me just show you this.
It's easy to say something, but sometimes something isn't enough.
I don't
Sometimes we
I
have
don't care. Thank you. Right. Right, when you look at this thing, the side alone looks a lot more appealing than your average bus. I like how it's curving in a lot of spaces like that, and I like how you got this metal here that's kind of going across smoothly with the design. It's not. It doesn't really look like it's in there like for no reason. It kind of goes on with the design with how it's curving. It's leading on the curvature going from the front sided leap that the window does on the side like that, and the rear sided leap that it does. I like how it's kind of in line with that. That's kind of like a design flow that you don't really see in buses like that. Because like, a lot of buses with their designs, stuff are either too linear or, whenever stuff curves, there's nothing really leading on from it. And there's parts just going on in different directions and it doesn't really look that neat. But the side alone looks a whole lot more stunning than your average single decker. I like it. And obviously this thing took on a bit of inspiration from the existing Citaro. And the Isataro kind of took on inspiration from it too, especially from the front. But this looks very good for a single decker bus. This even is more eye-catching than plenty of double deckers too, like the ALX, the Plaxton President, the E400, the Gemini 2 even, the Gemini 1. And this thing came out in 2016. It was a concept. It was never released to bus operators to order, but it was just a concept. And they actually built it. I want to know where this bus is housed at now. But Mercedes actually cooked with it, though. I won't even lie to you. Like, it is actually. Like, I just wish like bus designs could look a bit. Like, and this thing came out in 2016, by the way. That's actually mad. This thing came out in 2016, and it's already looking like a 2030R bus. This thing was well ahead of its time, and this just shows you that Mercedes, they're literally the boss of everything. They're the boss when it comes to a lot of stuff. See how good they are at making cars. See how good they are at making trucks. And buses, even buses, they're taking the lead with buses. Mercedes have always made buses that stand out from other manufacturers' boring or looking buses. I like it. See how the interior is all smooth like that. I like it. It looks like you're stepping into a peaceful realm, where you can just relax. Obviously, there's a lack of seats in that. If there was a bit more seats, yeah, it would be a bit nicer. And I don't think people are too keen on sitting on plastic seats like that. But I mean, it is just a bus, so it's really not that deep, is it? What is this though? Is it lights or no? Oh! I do like the interior lights though. Do you see how it's curving like that, brother? Do you see how it's curving along? Nah, we need more shit like that, man. More unique shit like that on our buses, man. That would liven up. That's another thing that would liven up our buses a bit more. Because you see every bus manufacturer, they're always doing the same boring old straight line on both sides of the interior, on the left and the right side, boring old looking lights. You don't see any bus manufacturers doing different interior light styles from other bus manufacturers. That's another thing that we need to change up on bus to give them more identity. When you look at this thing, yeah, straight up you see identity in it. A lot of buses they don't really have that much identity from other buses. But when you look at this thing, yeah, it's got a rare thing of a bus actually having its own identity from other buses. Like when you look at this thing straight up, it stands out a lot more than your average R bus. Okay, the cab does look a bit plain. That's my only down. That's the only downfall to this thing. The cab does look quite plain. I'm not a huge fan of the dashboard. I'm not that does look very plain. I'm not a fan of the dashboard. Oh, but it's got self-drive. Do you see that? Wait, but this is fucking 2016, mate. Look when this video came out. 2016. Fucking hell. Oh, it's cool. So it's got city. It's got a thing called City Pilot. That's probably what's controlling the thing right now. So this thing had AI. I mean, this thing had like basically AI driving. That's actually insane. For 2000. Now, this is what I mean. Not only did these man come up with a curve, a very smooth design that's out of this world for boss designs of today, you know, but it's even got, AI driving for 2016 bus. I swear that shit only got introduced on like the 2017 autonomous E200 MMC. This thing's way ahead of its time. It's insane. I'm shocked that I don't hear too much enthusiasts talking on this thing. I feel like this thing's just been forgotten. This is insane, bro. The interior looks so smooth as well. You feel at peace. You can tell you'd feel at peace riding this thing. And this is what I want to see more of buses. Buses having a more welcoming vibe in their presence. Like when you see this thing, you feel you'd if you saw this thing pull up to you, you'd feel at peace, bro. I'm telling you. Look at even the passengers are looking at it like whoa. But when you see your average old bus going down the street, you won't see no passengers staring at it like this. Like look at this man. He's getting a bit jealous of the driver. He's like, yo, I want to have a go at this thing. Who's this thing pulling up, bro? Let me have a ride on that thing, still, G. But no, this is where I want to see bus designs get into in the future, man. Like I want to see bus designs looking a lot more flashy like this. Like even see as it goes in through the tunnel, right? This is a thing that I find very 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 cool about this. When you look at the lights, look at the lights. Look at that. Look at that. These men have even went as far, yeah, to put lights around the fucking windows on the sides. That's amazing, brother. Look at that, man. Look at that, bro. Look at the lights going all around like that. Aye. This is where I want to see boss designs in the future, man. This this is where bosses need to go with their designs. This is where bosses need to go with their designs in the future, man. This really is a future boss, you know? Mercedes really took it there, this thing. I hope Mercedes cook us up another boss in the future that looks somewhat like this. I hope they do that one day, man. Please, Mercedes. This looks amazing. That looks amazing, man. Alright, that's where our boss designs need to get up to, man. That's where we low key need our boss designs. Alright. Yeah, this was a Riva London's LT1, right? It did actually undergo a first boss livery, but I don't really hear anyone talking about that still. Um, if you played Public Transport Simulator, you'd see this thing in this design. You'd see it in this livery. But yeah, it did actually undergo this, which leaves me a bit of concern. Um, it leaves me a bit of wonder if First Boss were actually planning on getting new route masters. Pretty interesting. Um, wait, let me read this actually. First Yorkshire releases consultation responses for their new Boss for West Yorkshire project. Oh, so they were actually planning on getting the new route master into West Yorkshire, but it didn't go through. New Bus for West Yorkshire is a vision from First Group to deliver radically improved bus services in West Yorkshire. Their package of measures includes new buses, smart ticketing, and targeted infrastructure changes to speed up journeys. First Group want to achieve by radically changing bus services in the region of West Yorkshire. First borrowed First Group borrowed the new Routemaster bus from TfL to demonstrate it around West Yorkshire during the year 2014. They did this in order to collect surveys and information from people that are interested in the new proposal for a bus with a similar concept to the new Routemaster bus from London. I see. What are the proposals First Group want for users in West Yorkshire? Their proposals are as follow: a bus in a similar concept to the new Routemaster, two staircases and three doors for faster boarding, smart card ticketing, cleaner engine with the latest in hybrid technology, fuel consumption and engine emissions are significantly reduced with a 47% reduction in CO2 compared to diesel buses. The bus could have been manufactured by a Wrightbus from Northern Ireland. Right. I see. New bus for West Yorkshire would initially be introduced on the busiest routes in Leeds and then extended to Bradford, Huddersfield, and Halifax. It could start to be introduced within the next 18 months. Right. So it seems to me that First Bus in West Yorkshire were actually looking to getting a bus similar to the Routemaster, but they first tried out the Routemaster for London. But after taking it on board, they were trying to like see if they could actually get Wrightbus to make them their own version of it. Interesting, but it's a shame that didn't go forward to plan. Hopefully, you know, First Bus don't forget about their concept and they actually maybe try make a fancy bus, for West Yorkshire or another part of their regions in the future. Hopefully that happens. Because I like where they were going forward with this thing. I like what they were doing. The Route Master really has a nice design. Oh yeah, the Route Master had a bus that undergo tests. Um, this was like the concept of it. It was undergoing tests and that this thing. Um, of course you see Boris Johnson on the blood clot thing. This is a thing that was just being used for tests and that. Um, yeah, new Route Master test. Yeah, this is it.
At Vodafone, save up to £1,032 with the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 when you trade in.
See, you ain't gonna see average people that this saying, "Oh, this bus is absolutely fantastic. I had a ride in one of the London New Route Master visiting this wonderful city. I never feel that before. Excellence, comfort, accessibility. Watching the test rides vehicle is really unique." You won't see no one saying that about no fucking Gemini One, ALX 400, Envar 400. You won't be seeing people saying that about your average old bus on the street. But it's buses like this that stand out with their design and actually have a bit more identity to your average old bus that you'll get more people saying shit like that from, you know? And this is why we need more of our bus designs to glow up in this sense. We need more of our bus designs in the UK or in general, like to actually stand out a bit more and have a bit more creativity into them, like the Future Bus and the new Route Master. Oh, yeah, this was the test vehicle for it. It's rare that you see test buses being used. Manufacturers don't really display that shit. Oh, look at them, they're testing it on the bumps. Alright, let's skip forward a bit. This is a bit boring. No, but I wish we could see more boss tests, man. That's something we need more in the boss community, seeing boss tests in action. But the odd thing about this test vehicle, right, is how the front door, right? Do you see how the front door's done? And do you see how wide and thick the rear door is? Hold on. I swear the Root Master's door ain't that wide like that. Fucking hell.
This is
Yeah, the front door is just a single door without a pole in it. So I wonder how that door functioned, you know? Um, yeah, but if you want to search more into the Root Master, right? I can show you, yeah. Hedwick, because this is the team that were actually behind this design, Hedwick Studio, and they actually show you how far the design actually went with the new Root Master. See, they'll show you the sketches that they did for it, you know. They'll show you the basic steps. So it was originally just a box, then they first rounded the edges on the sides, then they rounded the edges at the top, and then they added the windows, right? Then they added the staircase window, and then they added the lining. They added some more lining, going across the front and the back, and then it was that. And they're showing you how the design goes forward with so the arrows here are pointing out where air can travel through from the doors and that, where it leads you to on the bus, where the doors will no it's where the doors lead you to on the bus, because the front door would be here, then the middle door would be there, then the last door and the route master would be there. Yeah, even it's showing you. Yeah, they made model clay out of it as well. Interesting, man. It really is an iconic design for a boss. I like the Root Master. This is definitely a boss. Yeah, I could say that I'd full-handedly, with the amount I hate this thing gets, full-handedly, I would say, yeah, this is a very iconic boss, and I'll miss it when they go. This is an actual boss that holds identity. That isn't just your lame or old books on wheels. It's actually got identity to it. Even like with how they've done the lights too. Right Boss actually did the lights in a different way from other manufacturers. Instead of your boring or old strings going from left to right in the interior, they've done little dots going across the bus. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need more of. More different more different designs, ideas like that on bus, where you got different light designs, different roof designs. I like this, man. This is some great styling, man. I like it. I like it, G. No, but it must be very fucking hard to design all this stuff, man. Fucking hell. Oh, that's them making their Gemini 2s. I think that's the Gemini 2s they're making. That's the Root Masters. No, but look at the amount of machinery they're having to put together, though. It's advanced doing this shit, man. What's this ain't no simple thing. No vehicle's a simple thing to just do, man. We've already seen that. Look how they're plotting the whole. That's the last staircase by the last door. Um, Look how they're even plotting everything on sketches and that. This is advanced shit. Look how they're putting the measurements there, fam. I cannot do that shit, man. Are you dumb? Look at this shit, man. it's a lot of advanced engineering and skill of the mindset that comes with designing vehicles. Even look how stylish the staircase is, man. They not only just did the steps, yeah, and even added some designing going along the steps and that. They didn't just leave it to be, your average staircase blocks on your average bus. They actually added some designing like this on the stairs and that, and even on the flooring. But they even see how the metal bar, slip, the metal strip from the stairs, yeah. See how it diagonally goes across like that. Do you see that? Man, they really tried with this design, man. We need more bus designs with this amount of work put into them, man. Okay, that's them putting the pole. That's just before the last door. That's them putting. Look how sleek the design is. That's the seat moquette. Oh, that's them doing the seat moquette in house. That's the go ahead seat moquette. What other seat moquettes can we see here? What's those in the background? I don't know. Is that first or something? Is that Abellio or something? Like what? I'm not sure. No, but that interior is clean, bruv. Look at that shit, man. Fuck me. Alright. Why is brother staring at the light like that? I can't lie. I've done that before in a Route Master. I can't lie. Very unique design, man. Man just slapped the window before he got into. What driver does that? What driver does that, G? Alright, drivers watching this or anything, yeah. Let me know if you do that also before you walk into the bus, before you get set out of the garage and that. Let me just exit out of this shit, man. Fucking hell, I'm not trying to read the weathers and that. Fucking hell. Look how iconic this thing is, man, for a bus. Stands out a lot more than that E400 in the distance there. It's a very sleek design. I pray we get more bus designs like this in the future, man. Like this is where buses need to be with their design, man. A bit more unique looking like this, man. Wait, I think I can actually find, yeah. I think there's actually like a video of someone going over how they design the Route Master or something like that. Wait, Route Master, do Route Master design? Because I think there's like an interview with someone like that. Wait, interview. Right, yeah. Jonathan Glancy on the new Route Master art and design. Right, let's see this. Let's see this. What does the designer have to say? What does part of the people that was part of making this design come through have to say about
You
this?
can see a big attempt being made in the design to create a bus that has some echo of the outgoing Route Master bus.
Right, so this guy is the architecture and design correspondent.
Outgoing Route Master bus, the old Route Master, and that's in terms of the fact that it's a distinctive design. It's curved. It's very important to curve the profile of a bus because a bus is a big machine, and if you look at the contemporary buses, they are great big shoe boxes on wheels, and they're
No, that's what I'm saying, G. No, that's actually what I'm saying, bro. Do you hear what this guy just said? Do you hear what he's just said? He's just said, yeah, it's very important to curve, yeah, a big thing like a bus, yeah, because when you look at the average bus, yeah, it's just a box on fucking wheels, bro. And this is why a lot of people, yeah, buses don't really like come to their level. This is why a lot of people say that the buses ain't all that because they just look like boxes on wheels, bro. But this guy, yeah, this is like someone that's helped design a Route Master, yeah, a stunning bus like this, yeah. He's like, it's very important to leave curvature on the bus, yeah, so that it doesn't look so plain and it just doesn't look like just a box on wheels. He's telling facts, bro. He's telling facts, bro. No, I need to make this into a part 2 low key.